Welcome to Okaloosa Eye on Crime. Now this month we're hoping someone out there watching is going to know who's responsible for a hit-and-run accident in Crestview, one that left a woman critically injured.
That's right, and local law enforcement is also trying to track down an armed robber who actually fired a shot into the store wall. And if you, like us, are fans of canines, we have several items of interest to share, including a new security boost at the airport and the influx in November of canine teams from across the country.
That's right. Love those canines. But let's get started first with some of those high-profile cases. First up, an armed robber fired a bullet into a business wall before taking cash from the store and leaving in a white vehicle. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office was called to the Corner Food Market. That's at 100 Bob Sykes Boulevard near Fort Walton Beach around 10:15 on October 8th. The suspect, described as a Hispanic or mixed-race male, was wearing a hat, dark pants, and a long-sleeved orange shirt, and he arrived at the store in what was believed to be a white, newer model car. The clerk says the man walked up to the counter, pulled out a gun, and fired a shot directly into the wall. The man then demanded money, got some cash, and left. So anybody with information on this crime, please contact the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, 651-7400, or Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers. Of course, that contact information is 850-863-TIPS, emeraldcoastcrimestoppers.com, or use the P3 TIPS mobile application.
And reference that Florida Highway Patrol hit and run. This was shortly after 1:30 on the morning of Wednesday, September 25th. Now, 30-year-old Ashley Richards was struck by an unknown vehicle while she was crossing Okaloosa Lane up in Crestview. She was critically injured and she still remains hospitalized at this time, but I have heard she is making at least some slow progress and improvements. But the Florida Highway Patrol is hoping someone might have information that will lead to the driver and the vehicle that severely injured her. So if you have any information, of course, remember it's 100% anonymous.
That's a big one. Big one there. Walton County Sheriff's Office is trying to identify Miramar Beach vehicle burglars during the early morning of September 29th. A total of 12 unlocked vehicles were burglarized in neighborhoods between Shore Drive and Seascape Resort. Cash, gift cards, prescription medicine, the usual things were some of the items stolen. And the video shows two male subjects dressed in hats, hoodies, and long pants. So if you've got any information on these burglaries, please let us know.
And vehicle burglars were also busy in the Fort Walton Beach and Destin area. Deputies responded to multiple vehicle burglaries on the morning of October 14th in both Fort Walton Beach and Destin. Several cars on Ironwood Drive over in Fort Walton Beach were burglarized. Almost 20 car burglaries were reported on Lauren Court, Louise Circle, Katz Court, and Blue Marlin over in Destin. And unfortunately, most of the vehicles were left unlocked. And of course, we can't stress it enough. Please lock your cars, no matter if it's in your driveway, wherever it's at, please lock your cars.
Yeah, because these car burglars it's rampant. They're everywhere, and
Yes.
they're looking for crimes of opportunity. And especially, we have so many cases where people are leaving their guns in their cars. Please don't do that. Next up is a quick change suspect scheme. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office trying to identify these two men for a scheme that occurred at a Fort Walton Beach retail store on September 15th. Now, a quick change scam, you've probably heard of it, when an individual confuses cashiers by paying for small priced items with large bills. And in some instances, such as the one we're talking about here, they work in teams of two, where one suspect handles the money exchange, while the second acts as a distraction to confuse the cashier even more. The slender male blocked the view of other customers in line, while the heavyset male on the motorized scooter confused the cashier into giving him too much cash back, and both men left in a white SUV.
Yeah, and that's actually a scheme that we see more often than people probably think, so just something to keep an eye out for. And now we're going to go to our first list of wanted fugitives that law enforcement hopes maybe you out there in the public can help us find. And the first one is going to be a new face, and that's Dale Harrison Cook III. He's 18 years old, and he's wanted for firing a weapon into a dwelling as well as criminal mischief, last known to live on Kelly Road in Niceville.
Hun Greaves is a 61-year-old wanted for multiple counts of fraud. Last known address was in Fort Walton Beach.
And some good news, Richard Earl Larkins Jr. has been located.
But still looking for Christopher James Jones. Jones is 22 years old. He's wanted for failure to appear for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and his last known address was in Niceville.
And Okaloosa deputies are still searching for 26-year-old Tyree Devon McCorvey. He's wanted for violation of probation for burglary as well as grand theft. He was last known to live on Ridgewood Avenue in Mary Esther.
Anthony Michael Fredeli's last known address was in Fort Walton Beach. He's wanted for violation of probation for grand theft, trafficking in stolen property, and providing false information to a pawnbroker.
And another new face this month is 21-year-old Dylan Lamont Riggins. He's wanted for violation of probation for grand theft.
William James Barcheski, wanted for VOP for battery on a law enforcement officer or firefighter, last known to live on Schneider Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
57-year-old Richard Huey Dixon Jr., last known to live on Hollywood Boulevard in Fort Walton Beach, and he's being sought for violation of probation for burglary, criminal mischief, as well as theft.
And contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers if you have any information on where to locate Lee Morse Grant. Grant's wanted for VOP for battery and child abuse, last known to live on Spencer Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
We're still searching for Joseph Lee Fairchild, and he's wanted for violation of probation for aggravated assault.
Yep, and William Richard Fontenot has been on the list for a while. He's 41 years old, wanted for burglary and criminal mischief, last known to live on First Avenue in Crestview.
And another one that's been on here for a while, that's 33-year-old Tamothy Lacole Hankins. She's wanted for insurance fraud, uttering a forged instrument, as well as grand theft. Now, she was last known to live in Laurel Hill, but they think she may have gone to Alabama.
Moving over to the Walton County Sheriff's Office, they're wanting Clifton Antonio Patrick for trafficking in methamphetamine.
41-year-old Kiasha Latrell Irby, and she's wanted for a violation of probation for 2 counts of grand theft.
And last up on this first list, Francis Kelly Campbell. Campbell's wanted for VOP for theft and failure to appear for leaving the scene of an accident, as well as driving with a license that was suspended or revoked, last known to live in Crestview. Well, we had mentioned the K-9s. We want to tell you about this one thanks to a joint venture between the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office and the Destin Fort Walton Beach Airport. There is a new team on patrol there, and it's one with not only a vital mission, but one that's attracting a lot of positive attention.
Just a nudge. One more time. Just a nudge. One more time.
She has a very high drive. She loves her toy. She, like I said before, she does love to be pet, loves attention. And she's 13 months old. She's a Dutch Shepherd Malinois mix, and her name is Sky. We did 4 weeks down in South Florida, down in Daytona. We did detection training, and then we also did some airborne training on people. And then we came back to work last week, so I've had her for about 4.5 weeks.
And how's that bond forming with her?
It is very good. She's actually starting to bond well with the family too.
So with the addition of Sky, our new deputy at the airport, it brings us a multitude of different functions that we can do. With her training in explosive detection, she gives us a broader range of capabilities to be able to explosive detection within the airport. It increases public safety beyond ways we haven't been able to expose yet.
We're just going to be walking the terminals, making sure there's no explosives, search unattended bags, search vehicles coming in and out of the airport, search for vendors, possibly bringing in contraband into the airport, and just walk around being friendly, being noticed, so people will see her and maybe be a deterrent, and also have her pet if she wants to be petted. She is a working dog, so if people would ask before they came up and try to pet her, that would be helpful, and I'll let people pet her.
The airport has had exponential growth over the last 3 years, breaking the records nationally. And with that growth comes the need for more resources. We're seeing an increase of passengers coming through the terminal, people utilizing it, more vendors, more businesses, and with the growth comes, again, the need for higher security levels. Sky gives us that threat level that we can use to detect for explosives coming through that we've never had before. So far, the public reaction has been exceptional, phenomenal. We have traveling public comes through every day, and we've always had a great relationship with traveling public in the Sheriff's Office anyway, but adding a 4-legged deputy has increased it tenfold. People have come in and asked already, hey, where's Deputy Sky? Can we see her? People want to get pictures with her. She's our new celebrity here in the airport.
And now, yes, Sky is very outgoing, as you can see from the video there, but we also want folks to remember that she is on duty at the airport. So please ask Deputy Beal first if you would like to interact with her.
Yeah, but she's a pleasure, for sure.
Sure is. And speaking of canines again, the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is hosting the Super Bowl of law enforcement canine competitions. Now, teams from across the United States and even one from Canada will be in town, and the public is welcome to check out the action.
Who doesn't like to watch law enforcement canines in action? They're smart, motivated, well-trained, but they do have to prove they have the right stuff, from obedience to agility, to earn their certification and badge. Teams from across the country are in town November 3rd through the 8th for the 2019 USPCA National Field Trials. Most of the action is set at the Morgan Sports Complex in Destin, and it's open to the public.
This is actually like the Super Bowl of all law enforcement canine competitions. Top teams from all over the nation, to include a team from Canada that we have coming in right now, will be here to compete this week. So you're going to get to see the top dogs in law enforcement from all over. Everything is open to the public with the exception of the article search, which is at the airport. Obviously that's a lock and key facility, so we can't get everybody in there, but everything else will be open to the public at Morgan's.
They're underway each morning at 8, and a public demonstration's on tap for November 7th at 6 p.m.
We're also going to do a public demo at Choctaw High School Thursday night. During that demo, you'll get to see little skits from all the teams, learn who the top teams are that week, and as well as a little boy and a little girl are going to get a chance to win a bike. Every kid in attendance that night will get a free ticket for a bike. The sheriff will raffle that off.
So check out canines from across the country. They're going to show off those crime-fighting skills they need to wear that badge.
So some really cool stuff coming up, and we are hoping for a big crowd to come up again. That public demonstration at Choctaw's Etheridge Stadium, that's going to be on November 7th, starting at 6. And also, as they said, 2 bicycles will be given away at the event, 1 to a boy, 1 to a girl. Get a free ticket when you walk in, and you might get your number pulled for a free bicycle, so you can't beat that.
And you might want to check out our Facebook page as well, because I know they're selling some shirts and other goodies for this event
That's right,
that the public
fundraiser.
can purchase. So make sure you go to the Sheriff's Office Facebook page, because we'll be sharing all that great information.
And I appreciate
So,
that, because that reminded me of something I wanted to do. So
there you go.
Right after the show, I'm heading to do that.
Well, next up is our next set of fugitives. We do want to remind you that they are wanted as of today's taping date, which is October 17th, 2019. So first up, another new face, 43-year-old David Allen Bobbitt, and he's wanted for fraud.
Then we have Clayton McCree Copeland. Copeland's wanted for violating probation on a charge of providing false information to a pawnbroker, as well as grand theft of a motor vehicle. Copeland's last known address was in Destin.
And deputies are still searching for Craig Mitchell Mayfield. He's 55. He's wanted for violation of probation for grand theft of a motor vehicle, last known to live on Troy Street over in Fort Walton Beach.
And the Walton County Sheriff's Office would certainly like to know the whereabouts of Darrell Williams. He's wanted for lewd and lascivious behavior.
And Coretta LaDon James, she's being sought for failure to appear for grand theft and fraud, last known to live on Wilson Street in Crestview.
Devin Earl Jordan is wanted by the Walton County Sheriff's Office for felony violation of probation, last known to live in Defuniak Springs.
And this is a new one this month. It's actually someone being sought by the Crestview Police Department for robbery by sudden snatching, and that is Abdeeb, hopefully I'm saying that right, Malik Bell, but take a look at his picture there. He was last known to live in Defuniak Springs.
But you don't have to contact us if you know where Richard Francis Hawthorne is, because we know too. He has been located since the last show.
That's always good news. Next up is 27-year-old Andrew Allen Koslow. He's wanted for violation of probation on the original charge of grand theft of a firearm.
So remember, you've got different methods that you can use to contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers. You can call the tip line, you can do emeraldcoastcrimestoppers.com, you can do mobile tips. So lots of options out there, and a lot of people are taking advantage of that, and we appreciate it.
All anonymous, and you could get a cash reward of up to $3,000.
And next up, Anjali Johnson. She's wanted for aggravated battery, last known address Mixon Road in Defuniak Springs.
27-year-old Reginald Dwayne Muse. He's wanted for violation of probation for grand theft, burglary, as well as aggravated stalking.
And this guy's been on the list for a while, so we'd love to see him get taken off. His name's Dennis Frederick Taylor Jr. He's wanted for failure to appear for fraud, providing false statements to get unemployment compensation.
And Walton County deputies are still searching for William Brian Harnish. He's wanted for violation of probation for possession of a controlled substance, as well as possession of drug paraphernalia, last known to live in Freeport.
And this guy's last known address was in Pensacola. Name is Lucas Lorenzo Williams. Williams is wanted for armed robbery that took place in October of 2016 in Defuniak Springs.
And Timothy James Howard is wanted for larceny, resisting an officer in the recovery of stolen property, as well as a failure to appear for fraud, last known to live on Bearhead Road up in Defuniak Springs.
And George Monroe Emmerich II has been on here for a while. He is wanted by the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office for violating probation on a domestic violence strangulation charge, as well as aggravated battery.
And this next one, we're not going to give up on this, but this is actually a 2015 warrant from the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, but that is Alexis Wilmer Mondragon, and he's wanted for sexual battery, sex offense against a child, and lewd and lascivious molestation, but we're not going to give up. Hopefully somebody will know where he is at.
Yeah, I think out of all the people on the list, that was one of the ones
Absolutely.
that
We're
been on
going to
there
keep
for
him on
so
here.
long. He needs
so-
to come off. Next up, Okaloosa County, as everybody knows, is a really hot spot for boating, but also for swimming, for personal watercraft, kayaking, and all of that good stuff.
That's right. So here's a quick reminder to drive defensively and be on the alert when you're out there.
Yeah, is anybody?
And truly, so many of these accidents could be avoided if people would just pay attention to everything that's around you, and also keep your distance from other people, because a lot of these involve collisions that could have
Close
been
proximity,
prevented.
yeah.
A lot of people forget that when you let off the gas, you can no longer steer, and that's been an issue as well.
Right.
Up next on our fugitives list, Misty Nolan Johnson is wanted for grand theft and fraud.
And Walton County deputies are searching for Brittany Linnell Sanders for violation of probation for create, use, or possess counterfeit credit cards with the intent to use counterfeit information.
Contact Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers if you know the location of Daniel Lewis Davis. Davis is wanted for VOP for burglary. His last known address was in Crestview.
Deputies are still searching for 38-year-old Roderick James Redderson Jr. for possession of synthetic narcotics within 1,000 feet of a school, as well as failure to appear for driving while license suspended or revoked.
This next one was someone that used to live in Shalimar, 31-year-old Samuel Edward Thomas III. He's wanted for violating probation on original charges of providing false information to a pawnbroker, false imprisonment, and grand theft.
James Anthony Williams is being sought by the Walton County Sheriff's Office for violation of probation for possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Tyler Lee Andrews, she's wanted for violating probation on charges of grand theft of a motor vehicle and possession of methamphetamine.
43-year-old Tashawn Coward Sr., he's wanted for driving while license suspended or revoked, as well as non-payment of child support. He was last known to live on Scranton Street in Fort Walton Beach.
Moving over with the Walton County Sheriff's Office, they're looking for Bobby Derone Simmons. Simmons wanted for felony violation of probation. Last known address was in Wedsell Road in Sansom.
Walton County is also still searching for Herbert Samuel Duggar, and he's wanted for felony violation of probation.
Lethia Lynette Garcia is wanted for fraud. She swindled a 77-year-old by using fake letters from charitable organizations. Last known to live in Fort Walton Beach, so contact us if you know her whereabouts.
Next up is 33-year-old Eric Dwayne Russell. He's wanted for burglary as well as larceny.
Tony Wayne Poland wanted for failure to appear for criminal mischief, burglary, and theft. Last known to live in Freeport.
Next individual is wanted for violation of probation for child neglect, and that is 40-year-old Kendrick Cordell Boxey.
And trying to locate Crystal Renee Bailey. Bailey is wanted for failure to appear for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, as well as violation of probation for retail theft.
David William Armstrong, he's wanted for violation of probation for fraud, uttering a forged instrument, and grand theft.
Starting to wind down on these now. Isaac Scott Woodard II wanted for violation of probation for possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia.
And last but certainly not least is Brandon Ray Smiley Berry. He's 28 years old. He's wanted for aggravated assault and battery by strangulation. Now, he was last known to live on Okaloosa Boulevard over in Destin. And we want you to mark your calendars. Like we told you last month, the annual Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers fundraiser crawfish boil is going to be next year, April 25th. That's a Saturday. We will be serving up delicious crawfish probably around 11 a.m. Of course, we're hoping to have the Explorers Mud Bug Run. Once we have that confirmed, we'll let you know as well. But of course, it's fun for the whole family. Take a look at some of the pictures here. We're currently looking for sponsors for this upcoming event. But I think last year it was almost 2,000 pounds of crawfish, shrimp. It's a good time, live music, fun, and of course it all raises money because I don't know if folks know, but Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers does not use any taxpayer dollars to pay these rewards. A lot of it is through fundraising, which is what our volunteer board of directors does. So make sure you mark your calendars, keep an eye on our website, emeraldcoastcrimestoppers.com, of course, as well as our Facebook page and Twitter, and you will see all the information about the upcoming event. We hope everybody joins us again this year.
And if you're not following Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers on Facebook, you really want to do that in Twitter because a lot of pictures, video, surveillance video of real-time crimes is shared on there from day to day, and get a lot of input off of that. And it also lets you know what's going on because you'll see, if it's happening in your neighborhood, there could be surveillance video shared by homeowners. And we want to thank all those people out there that do have surveillance cameras at their house that do share the video with law enforcement. That certainly is a big, big help. And one last thing we want to remind you about, we're getting close to the holiday season already, believe it or not. And one of the things that we see pop up every year, and actually it's probably become almost a year-round issue, but mainly during the holidays, is the porch pirates. When people are getting tons of packages delivered every day all across Okaloosa County, there are some folks that are following around trying to spot an opportunity to steal your stuff.
Hi, I'm Okaloosa County Sheriff Larry Ashley, and as convenient as it is to have your packages delivered to your door, so is it for thieves, what we call porch pirates, to steal them. Please have your packages forwarded to your neighbors or your workplace. We hope you have a happy holidays, and please report any suspicious activity to your local law enforcement and Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers.
Now, when you want to become a law enforcement officer, you have to prove your proficiency behind the wheel.
And that means learning the limits to not only your personal driving skills, but also to the vehicle so that you can drive safely in all kinds of road conditions, all kinds of hazardous weather.
That's right, and at the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office Vehicle Operations course, once you've gone through the difficult skill sets, you then put them all together for evaluation and try to leave those cones intact.
We've got a video we want to share with you and demonstrate all that. And I also want to thank Deputy Jeremy Dobkins because he's the person that put the driving video together.
We're going to do, take all our skills and put them together, okay, in a timed event. Have a little fun. Part of the purpose is of this, no, you're not going to drive one of these Impalas on the road, but part of the purposes of these closed driving courses is to test your limits and the limits of your vehicle.